Safari here at the Lion Habitat Ranch. As usual, I'd like to thank any of you who have come out to visit us or been able to make any donations or help us out on Amazon Smile. All those links are right down below. Just a quick reminder, if you would like to come and see us, we're going to be open. Our winter hours are in effect now, so that will be, as usual, Thursday through Monday, but our hours will be 11 to 3. So we shifted up an hour. So we open 11 to 3. Last entrance is 2:30. I do recommend getting here by 2, though, if you want to be here for an hour, right? The Aussie paint. And speaking of Aussie painting, you guys might be starting to think about Christmas gifts. And I know with some of the COVID things still going on, there's a little bit of delays in some of the shipping for stuff. So you know what you could do? You could come out to the ranch and get a very special, unique gift for Aussie's paintings, maybe.
You can also order them online.
You can also order any of Aussie's stuff, I believe, online. So if you go to the website, I believe the links are there, yeah. So if you're looking for a very unique Christmas gift, I think Aussie gifts are always a good way to go. I'm pretty sure my whole family received Aussie bags last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so today for Streaming Safari, Denise begged me to do some math for you guys. She begged. She was like, please, Alex, we haven't done enough math lately. But unfortunately, I don't have any math for you today. She's very excited. So I don't have any math, but I do have some concepts to go over with you. We're going to do a little bit of a two-parter again, where I'm going to talk to you a little bit about flying. And we're going to talk about flying today. We're going to do some little quick, straightforward experiments. And then next week, I'm planning on making some paper airplanes.
Ooh, that's always fun.
And when we make our paper airplanes, maybe Ringo will join us. So make sure to tune in next week for Ringo and paper airplanes. So we're going to kind of talk about one of the principles behind flying today, which is called Bernoulli's principle. It essentially is saying that when you have a fluid, which actually you might be surprised, a fluid is probably what? What do you think a fluid is?
Something like water?
Something like water. Water counts. So a fluid is pretty much any substance that doesn't have like a precise form. It's easily manipulated, it moves around. So that would actually also include gases. So normally when we say the word fluid, we think of liquid, right? But it actually includes gas as well. So the principle applies to both liquids and gases. And it says that when a liquid or a gas is moving fast, it actually creates lower pressure within that system. So, we're going to get interrupted by bird chat.
Bird chat will be in 5 minutes. Ask a keeper near you for location.
The birds know all about this principle. The birds, we'll see that the birds know all about this. Okay, so the idea is this will actually help things like airplanes to get up in the air, and it'll help our birds out as well. The easiest way to demonstrate this principle is actually if I just use a flat sheet of paper. So it's the easiest experiment to do this with. And I'm going to mute myself for just a second so you don't hear me blowing into the mic. You're going to take the piece of paper, it's going to curve down, you're going to put it up to your lips, and you're going to blow across the top of it. And that fast-moving air should actually have a lower pressure than the still air underneath it, because the principle states that if the fluid, the air in this case, is moving faster, it's going to create a lower pressure within that area. So what's going to happen to the paper? So the paper actually goes up. The paper will move upward even though I'm actually blowing across the top of it. So the curved down, the paper curved downward actually begins to move up instead of down because of the current of air going across that curve, creating the lower pressure and overcoming the very, very little amount of gravity on that paper. Now, sometimes you might read that this is kind of explained incorrectly with this experiment, because if you blow on the bottom of the paper goes up too. That's actually because of a vector. So you've got two different things going on. The pressure system going across the top of the paper allows the paper to float. When you when you blow across the top of it. The vector of the wind blowing actually into the paper helps it go up on the bottom of it. So that kind of gives you the idea of how a wing works, where you can actually have air flowing on the bottom and the top of the wing, allowing the wing to have lift. So another way that we can see this principle, which I think is pretty cool, is if you get a ping pong ball and a funnel. So if I put the ping pong ball in the funnel and I blow into the funnel, what's going to happen to the ping pong ball?
It's gonna float? No?
It won't. So, or it shouldn't. You know, on Streaming Safari, crazy science things happen. So let's see. If you want to look into the funnel, you see it bouncing around.
I think so. The sun is at an odd angle.
Can I move somewhere where it's better?
Maybe.
Is that better?
Yes. Maybe. Yes, you can see it vibrating
So
around.
it rattles. And what's going on is that low pressure air that I'm pushing into it is actually causing the rattling. Instead of the ball coming straight up, which is kind of what you would expect, it kind of sucks the ball back down in because of the pressure difference. Now, things are actually going to try really hard to move from a higher pressure to a lower pressure. So just like if you have like a balloon, right? The balloon is full of air and the air actually wants to escape. That's why if you blow a balloon up too much, it'll pop, because that air really wants to escape the high pressure into the lower pressure. And so the ball is actually coming down into the lower pressure area. Now, if I blow across the funnel, which works a little better if you have a little bit of a smaller funnel, see how high the ping pong ball actually goes?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll actually come out of the funnel if I blow hard enough. So that shows you the difference between where the pressure is located. Even if I'm blowing straight up the funnel into where the ball is located, it actually goes higher if I blow into the funnel or across the funnel, just based on where that air pressure is, and also some other factors, like I said, that force or the vector of the air that's going toward the ball. So it creates a little bit of a different thing than you would expect, and that actually helps to create lift. Now, a lot of airplanes are designed very differently, and we'll see that a lot of, next week hopefully we'll talk about a lot of wings, and our wings are going to be designed differently. But essentially when you look at your average airplane wing, it's actually going to be from the side. It's going to look something like this, where this is the bottom of the wing, and right, the airplane face would be over here. So this is the side of the wing. So the wing is actually coming out to the side here. What happens is the airflow comes this way toward the wing. Similar to the paper, the air on the top is actually going to move up. This is kind of a simplified version of this. The air doesn't move exactly like this because we have all kinds of atom and molecular interaction going on with the air. So it's going to kind of create some spirals and some turbulence and things across the top of this wing. But because it's going over this curve, both the bottom air and the top air are going to meet this point at the very end of the wing at the same time. But what's going to happen is this curvature is going to make the air move a little bit faster, like when I'm blowing over the curve of the paper. And it's going to create low pressure lift on the top, where the bottom is a slightly higher pressure. So it allows something really heavy like an airplane to start being lifted up. There's a lot of other things that go into it as well, but simply with the concept of this curved paper that we saw just blowing over it, that actually shows us that the low pressure lift coming from this curved wing can actually help to make your airplane more efficient, or your wing more efficient. One other cool thing that you can do with this, I'm going to actually reusing. Right? Denise is all about our reusing and recycling. One other cool experiment you can do really easily to show this concept that I think is pretty neat. If you take a small piece of paper and you make a tent out of it, This is actually applicable to your real tent if you go camping. Make a little tent out of it. Get yourself a straw to act like some wind. And then you're gonna blow air. Kind of got to be a little precise about where it is. The tent is actually bending inward, yeah? Can you see that?
Yes.
So instead of pushing outward, you would think that the air coming in would push the tent out. But it actually folds the tent in. And so if you had like a free flowing tent, if you're out camping and you let the air come into your tent, that's where you're gonna see the edges of your tent come in. That's all that Bernoulli principle thing. Where is the lowest pressure? The low pressure point is being created where the air is flowing quickly. So all of that is our little precursor to how wings work. And next week we'll talk about it even more and make some paper airplanes.
With Ringo.
With Ringo. So those are some quick fun experiments that you can do to explain a little bit of a cool physics concept for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will hopefully see you next week.